Hey, hello. My name is Rabbi Zevi Weinberg. I am the author of over 40 books on Judaism, Jewish mysticism, particularly how we can learn lessons in life. Now, every generation has a source soul. Everything in the universe really begins with, in Hebrew it's called klal uprat. And that means a kind of general principle, and all the details come from that principle. Even scientifically, the whole world, if you want to call it the Big Bang, we'd call it intelligent design, but it all began in one single, basically the size of an electron, but if you want to call it a mustard seed, all atomic, all matter is in this tiny thing. And then God, in fact, according to Judaism, says, Bereshis bara Elohim es shamayim v'sarth. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And whenever it says es in the Torah, it means l'rabais, it includes something else. So included in the heaven, included in the earth was everything in potential. So the best example of this is a seed. And the seed has the potential. It has literally everything comes from a seed. Even a human being, in a sense, comes from a zygote, a seed. Everything in the entire human being is in that seed. The entire tree is in that seed. The entire flower, every single living thing started as what we would call a klal, a one item. And from there came the details of the item. And so everything really begins in God, obviously. Without the creator, there can be no creation. But also the creator, all of our souls, I don't want to be too lengthy on this because really this is a video about the good news. But all of our souls, they really stem from God himself. There's one source of life, and everything that's living, even the physical matter, it's living, it's really energy. It's coming from God. Everything is really just God. However, of course, we live in kind of a simulation where we see ourselves as real, like a video game where we see everything around us quite real. But be that as it may, the main point is that all of our souls are four spiritual worlds above us. And the difference between a world above us is that each world is kind of, if you want to go in the positive, each world is closer to God. In fact, the highest world, Atzilus, is called Atzilus, which means Etzloi v'samach. It's close to God. The difference between these universes are simply that the lower you go, the more the matter of the universe, because a universe is a time, space, soul dimension. So the more the time, space, and so to say the matter of the universe seems real. So in our universe, if you look at me, you're not looking at God because you're looking at something physical, but really you are looking at everything that you look at is really God, because really it's spirit. It's not really physical. It shapes itself. Quantum physics says that when you look at something, it becomes matter. Before you looked at it was basically energy. It goes from like energy to matter. So the point of the matter is that the higher you go, I don't know exactly how it is, I'm not in those worlds, but the higher you go, the more you see how the physical isn't really physical. The universe, the time-space dimension around you, the bubble that you're living in is just that. It's a bubble. And the higher you go, you realize that, wow, it's all really just God. And once you have that realization that includes you, there's nothing outside. There will only be the qualities of God, the goodness of God, etc. So without going into, we've done many classes on the purpose of life. That's not what I want to focus today. What I want to focus today is the good news. All we hear is bad news and bad news and bad news. But actually, if you look at it objectively, hold on one second. I need to find something. Thank you. If you look at it objectively, the world has never been better. Now, it's very important to understand something that, a friend of mine, very smart guy, Yossi Beneshevis, he once said, imagine going to the Mona Lisa. I saw the Mona Lisa, and, everyone's looking around at this. I don't know, it's probably worth untold fortune, $100 million painting. But bottom line is a bird comes and it does like a little poo, just let's say on this little thing, poo, So what would everyone be talking about? Would they be talking about, is she smiling? Is she not smiling? No, they'd be talking about the poo. Why? Because that's gotten their attention. And that's what really the media does to us, is the media they're not good people. They're not people of content or integrity or anything special. I mean, they're not necessarily bad people. They're just not good people. They're not, leaders. They're just making a buck by selling, getting your eyeballs onto a screen or something. And so the easiest way to do that is basically through selling you fear and tragedy. It sparks our kind of amygdala, it sparks our fear, and then we actually become addicted to it. And that's why studies show that the more you look at the media, the more anxious and depressed you get. So the point of the matter is that in order to understand if something is good or bad, you can't look at the poo. You can't look at the Mona Lisa and say, wow, this is like poo. No, you have to look at the Mona Lisa and say, wow, this is beautiful. There's just a little bit of poo here. And that's the secret of life. So the story of life is that we actually ultimately are in the best times of human history. Now, if you look at it objectively, studies show, like in the 1800s, 90-something% of people lived in abject poverty, and now 90% of people don't. We're living double as long. Our healthcare systems, our freedoms, our education, so much better. Spiritually, there's never been a better time spiritually to live. God has been so revealed. We're in the times of Mashiach. Now, obviously, there is poo in the world, but let's compare the world to what it was. It's never been better. And every generation has the source soul, the Rebbe in our generation, the Lubavitch Rebbe, and he told us, it's a prophecy from God, that Mashiach, the Messianic era, has begun. And that's why we're here in Israel, and that's why things are getting better and better for the Jewish people. I know many people think, oh, wow, it's getting so bad. Well, you look at it statistically, actually 70% of Americans support the Jewish people. 70% of India, that's like over 1 billion people. The Chinese, the only culture they respect besides their own are the Jewish, because we're an ancient culture. This is unique in history. Jewish people are always despised and tortured and hurt and displaced. And so these are great miracles that are going on right in our time. So the bottom line is this, that life is a question of a story. What is the story? Is it a good story? Is it a bad story? And we have to realize that life is just a trajectory. It began quite dark with chaos and people hurting and raping and bad stuff. And then along comes Abraham, and he brings light, and then comes the Torah. And then slowly but surely, this light gets stronger and stronger until we're like over here, right before the final redemption, right before the infinite light, when God is going to create so many miracles, the resurrection of the dead, the Holy Temple, as you see behind me, is going to come down from the sky. There will be clouds that will gather all the Jewish people, miraculously bring them to Israel, giving them homes here. We are talking about the greatest time in human history. So don't lose out. Don't listen to the media. Don't be part of the bad news. If you want to look at something wrong in the world, the only reason to look at it is to fix it. If you can't fix it, don't waste your life by looking at it. L'chaim v'levracha.